Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Super Crooks because I saw the little Netflix thing. Super Crooks is part of the Mark Millar world, and he's the one who did the whole Jupiter's Legacy thing, which, if you guys watched the Netflix show, it got canceled after its first season, and it had potential, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. It was interesting from what I saw, but at the same time, it was so slow and it was so boring. But Super Crooks, I remember when they announced it, I said, "Now hold on, if you guys couldn't get Jupiter's Legacy correct, where we actually get to see the actual superheroes, Utopia and the rest of them, how are you going to do a series about the villains from the world of Jupiter's Legacy?" Well, turns out they did a show about supervillains in the world of Jupiter's Legacy, and they did an anime. Like, they did it in an anime. So, I mean, maybe there's a chance to redo Jupiter's Legacy, but as an anime series. Like, I thought it was really interesting. It feels like they were able to do things and show things that they couldn't do live action wise, if that makes sense. So I say go for it, to be honest. I haven't read Jupiter's Legacy yet. I'm gonna get a chance to. I'm gonna sit down one day and I'm gonna read it, because I know he also released Jupiter Legacy Requiem, and people said that book is good as well. So I'm gonna check them out when I get a chance. I'm definitely gonna check it out, and I'm gonna see what Jupiter's Legacy is really about, because I was disappointed with the show, because the show was so goddamn slow, and I couldn't stand the Utopian's daughter. Like, this druggy bitch keep whining and crying about her daddy issues, and I'm just like, for God's sakes, enough. Get over yourself. But anyway, this isn't about Jupiter Legacy. This is about Super Crooks. So Super Crooks is basically about this guy called Johnny, and he when he was a kid, he woke up one day as with superpowers. Now I'm kind of confused, because I thought the only superpowered beings were, I guess it makes sense that with the rise of superheroes, it was going to be people waking up with powers one day, which is kind of weird, because I wonder, like, why are people in the world of Jupiter Legacy just waking up with powers? Because from the show, it seemed like the only reason why the Utopian and them was getting taken down was because there's an alien who came from another planet, and that's why that happens. But and then they went to this mystical island. So did the mystical island, or did the Utopian and them release some kind of particles in the air where people just magically wake up with powers? I don't know. But anyway, he was trying to be a superhero. Things didn't turn out right. He thought that since he couldn't be anything more, he decided to become a villain. We jumped some years later, and he's Johnny Bolt, and he's a criminal that's getting out of Supermax, is what they say. That's what he's getting out. It's a prison that keeps the super villains in check. So he's getting out. He goes back to his girlfriend, and he tries to live a normal life, but super villains, they always trying to make a score or trying to get some money and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting because they introduced this superhero called the Petroleum, where you never know what kind of superpower he has. He has the ability to have 250 different abilities whenever he chooses to, but they're random. So, okay, I'm like, all right, that's a little OP, but I guess he's not more powerful than Utopian. So, yeah, that's something. And Johnny and his crew, they were robbing the bank and robbing jewelry stores or whatever. And of course, this new superhero patrol. I just said his goddamn name. Patrol. God damn it. Praetorium. He comes and defeats them, and they were lucky to escape because Johnny's girlfriend had mind control powers to force the Praetorium to let them go. And they fought against some kind of big old Colossus. I think they call him Colossus Boy or something like that. He looked like a freaking monster. And then some roll bounce guy. And then the Patreon him or something like that. However you say his damn last name. He came, not his last name, but he's another superhero that will take place. That he took a lot. I mean, not took a lot, but he's also a hero that they also had to deal with, which is kind of funny because later on he has to team up with them to take on the Petroleum. So it's kind of cool, like how everything kind of happens in this world. It's really interesting, to be honest. I would love to see it be expanded throughout more Jupiter's Legacy, because I feel like then we can get the story better that way than what they did live action wise. Or maybe Super Crooks might give this a chance to do a season 2, because like I said, for me with Jupiter's Legacy, I felt like it was finally getting somewhere. The final 2 episodes, it was finally having a breakthrough. Once we got all of that slow build burn bull crap out of our system, then I'm like, okay, finally, now we're getting somewhere, you know? That's just what I thought, but I don't know, maybe it could. But it was pretty interesting to kind of see an actual comic book series being turned into an anime. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but usually they would. When I was thinking about Super Crooks, and when they said, oh, they're gonna do an animated series, I wasn't thinking of an actual anime. I was thinking more like, oh, okay, they're gonna do cartoons. So yeah. Oh, so then they teamed up with this legendary villain, I guess, called the Heat, and they plan on stealing some cool helmet from an old villain, where they can make a lot of money and then retire on it. Of course, things go awry because the Praetorium, he's there at the Union of Justice headquarters, and shit get crazy. And then we find out that the Praetorium is working for the Bastard, who is a villain. So it's a superhero working for a super villain, and he has the ability to blow your head up by looking at you. Like, seriously. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what he does. He literally looks at people and then blows them up sky high, and you're just like, what in the hell? But yeah, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. But yeah, that was something. So Johnny and his crew, they kind of separated. Johnny tried to marry his girl Carly. It didn't work out. He went to jail for a couple of years. He got back out and he wanted to do another gig, but this time, like, the gig of all gigs, where they go to the island that the Bastard owns, and steal this suitcase that has infinite cash in it. So it has infinite cash in it. I mean, well, it's like a infinite vault or something like that. I don't know, but they had to first shut down the superpower thing. Of course, when you're watching superhero shows or whatever, technology has advanced where they can shut your powers down, of course. And they dressed up in these ridiculous costumes to take on the island. And the island had like ninjas and laser beams, and two of these guys, they, like, when you kill them, when you tear them apart or whatever, their body grows back or whatever. Is crazy, and it's gruesome. Like, for 5 minutes straight, they had them running through this laser thing, and man, that laser was tearing them up. I mean, God, Jesus Christ, the amount of time they been sliced and diced, I was like, all right, Jesus Lord. But they finally did it, so it is what it is, you know what I mean? I thought it was something. I thought it was really crazy. And then you got one that's like this telekinetic person or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. And then before that, the reason why the Patreon had to enter this one is because they took him on earlier in the series, where they were trying to get the telekinetic guy out of the plane, because he went down to Florida, just doing basic little thievery or whatever and stuff like that, which I should have known that they would have dragged the Patreon in there, because they kind of left clues for why anyway, because the Patreon was out with a guy in Florida, while the supervillain guy, he was tricking people into believing that he was a worker there at the little beach hotel front. And Patreon had defeated him, so they had, in order for their plan to work, they had to release him. It gets kind of crazy, but anyway, Johnny collects the crew all over again. You got this black guy called Forecast, where he can literally control the weather like Storm. It's hilarious, especially to see a male character do weather manipulation, because you only really think about Storm as the person to manipulate weathers, but he was manipulating weather too. So that was really kind of something to see as well. I mean, I have no problem with a male character doing weather manipulation anyway. Like, it is what it is. But what I'm saying is, it's just kind of interesting to kind of see these different takes on the characters and superpowers or whatever, because some of these people, they just want a clean break, but they're supervillains, and living mundane jobs just ain't gonna cut it. Not when they can do better. So, of course, they have this one last job thing that they're going to do, and they're going to rob that island that the bastard owns, where he's retiring from. And they successfully infiltrate the island, and, of course, things go wrong. The Petroleum, he goes and fights the villains, and then we realize that, oh yeah, one of the villains that's teamed up with them is Patreon. And we figured out the reason why he's joined them is because Johnny discovered that the Patreon is secretly closeted. He's LGBT, but he has a wife and he has kids, but he don't want them to know or whatever. And he's been messaging Johnny, exclusive pics and all that kind of stuff. And Johnny blackmailed him. But at the same time, he also convinced him, hey, don't you want revenge on Petroleum? Because we find out that I guess somebody had video footage of the Petroleum, how he kind of abused his powers and stuff like that. Because when he was attacking the villains, he kind of didn't really care about the superheroes, because he was ready to kill them. Like, he didn't give no craps. No matter who was in the way or whatever, that wasn't a concern of his, which was kind of crazy. Like, you're supposed to be a superhero. But then both the heroes fought against each other, and then he was like, I can't believe that you're a lackey or whatever, and you're supposed to be a hero. And then Patreon was like, people like you make me sick. He beat the fuck out of him. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And of course they escaped with the money, and the bastard got tricked by Carly, who had her psychic powers, made him believe that he had captured her and tortured her to death. That's what she made him believe. But it's not true. It didn't happen. So so then once they got the money, the reason why they were wearing them stupid costumes is because the salamander, the guy that threatened the Heat about the money that he owes them because he had tried to scam the casino, used him against the bastard when he sent all his information to New York Times, to his old, because Johnny sent all the information stuff to his old classmate when he was growing up. And the bastard came all the way from his island and killed everybody that was in the room with the salamander. So we don't know what's gonna go happen from there or whatever. But hey, the bastard decides to rejoin the network. Network is this whole little thing where they have villains creating plans, and they take 30% of the cut. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. And Carly and Johnny, they decide to finally get married and live a happy life together. The psychic dude, he goes cross country with his family. Forecast decides to invest into NASA and test his powers in space as well. Ghost, which another character that was part of the thing, he decides to take his money and buy land from Greece or whatever. I guess he's gonna rebuild the country. Something happened. I don't know what happened in Jupiter's Legacy with Greece, but he wants to fix it. He wants to fix it and make it better. So hey, I say go for it. One of the brothers that can like really not die, no matter how many times you slice and dice them. He the big burly guy, he decides to create interdimensional transportation. So he was freaking really intelligent to begin with. Like, people thought that he was lying about going to Yale and being a engineer. No, he really was. And then his younger brother, I guess, he spent his money on booze and girls. So of course, the Heat decided to quietly retire. And I think, and Petroleum, Patreon, no, is it? No, yeah, it is Patreon on no, the Patriot. God dang it, it's too many damn P words. But Patreon, he decides to come out the closet and live in his truth, and he became one of the most beloved heroes of all time. And Petroleum, God damn it, you guys know who I'm talking about. The hero that became a villain later on. He got knocked the hell out and suffering from some brain damage by what's this goddamn name? The Patreon. Woo. The Patreon. So it is what it is with how that goes. But I mean, overall the show was pretty cool. I like the animation style. We did get to see a little bit of the Union of Justice, especially when they went to go fight Necromancer, this like dead character who came back to life and resurrected a whole bunch of zombies. Like, that was really crazy. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was a pretty interesting show. I had no problem with it. I think this will probably be a safe bet for Jupiter's Legacy to continue to do stuff in this style and in that format, more so than trying to do it live action wise. That's all I'm saying. The limitation of live action compared to animation is completely different. And I think you can tell better stories with Jupiter Legacy using the anime style or animation. I don't care. I'm just throwing out my opinions on it. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. And now I got to watch that Netflix series Arcania. So we'll see how it goes. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.